Hey, g'day, Shane here from Clever Logger. This is our next release, and this is just a quick video to show you some of the new features that we're rolling out. This one in particular is about being able to quickly and easily graph multiple temperatures in the one graph, or temperature and humidity, so I'll show you that first. But if you're a pharmacy or a GP, then check out the twice daily min-max change that I'll show after that. Specifically for you guys, a little bit controversial. I'm not a fan of it, and I'll explain why later. But yeah, this is where we're just really putting a lot of effort into showing data. But enough of me talking, let's dive in. So first of all, I'll just have a sample here of a Joule probe. So this is one of our temperature loggers that has got a built-in temperature sensor plus an external probe, and we're graphing both of them together now. For some customers, this could be the logger is in a outside the fridge and probe inside. Could be the probe that's inside a vial, or could be inside core product or whatever. So there's a number of reasons why you'll have a Joule logger. So you've got two temperature readings. Another example is where you're using the humidity logger, and so you'd have temperature and humidity as the two things being graphed. For most of you though, you'll just continue just to see that single line of the temperature. Now you can actually change what you're going to see. So if I click on this button up here, I'm going to see the internal temperature or probe temperature. I've also got signal strength. So if I was to show internal temperature and signal strength and press submit, now I'm going to see both of them. That's great for support. Most of you really don't care about it. So let's just quickly jump back to probe temperature and internal temperature. Okay, so we're looking at the two. On the side here, you'll notice that I've got internal temperature, probe temperature. If I move over it, I'm highlighting it over here. Likewise, if I move over it over here, they highlight. So it's just really good for being able to distinguish data where they're overlapping. But I can also show you the high temperature alarm line, the low temperature, the high temperature low. If I click on these, I'll turn them off. So it's just a really, really handy way of hiding data. And if I only wanted to see a single one, now I can see a single one. So I don't have to go back up there to turn something on and off. I can quite quickly and easily just do it on the side there. So it's a really nice feature for anyone who's got the multi-channel loggers. The next feature I want to talk to you about is the date filtering that we've now got. So we've previously been able to filter just on a given date range. So if I liked, I could go, show me the last 24 hours, show me today, show me yesterday, show me the last 7 days. But what we've changed in this release is the ability to be able to go not just down to a particular date, but right down to a particular time. And so if I wanted to, I can be looking at, so this is from 4 p.m. to say 6 p.m. And so now I'm just looking at a very restricted range of time. So date filter as well as time filtering. Where that comes in handy for you is if you say had a breach over the weekend and you know roughly what time it started and to what time it finished, this allows you to purely just look at that range of data. We've had a number of customers ask for it, and we've finally had the opportunity to roll it out. Just as a quick aside, we now have 2 new developers on board, and so what that means is that we've actually got 4 people working on Clever Logger at the moment. And the way I'm basically allocating resources is there's a couple really, really big features that we want to work on, and that's going to occupy 2 of the developers. But we've got another developer who's basically there just to implement features that get asked for by our users. So if there's something in particular that you're after, then we've got one developer who's just there to look after you. Now we can't guarantee that he's going to get on top of it straight away, but basically we just want to prioritize making sure that we're doing the small features, keeping everyone happy, while we're working on some really, really big features. Okay, so getting back on track, let's just take this back down to say last 7 days. This isn't a new feature. This has been around for a while, but I just thought I'd quickly point it out, which is I've got a huge amount of data here, but if I was to click and drag over a given range, what's going to happen is when I release, I'm zooming in on that particular data, and I can continue to zoom in. And if I move my mouse over something, I can see the the exact reading, date, time, and because this is a dual sensor, it tells me that it's the internal temperature I'm looking at. So a really cool little feature, and if I want to go back out, all I do is press reset zoom and that'll take me back out again. Okay, so that's always been there. The next feature has always been there as well, but we've extended it and we've made it more obvious for you, and that's the ability to flick between the graph view, that is what you're seeing here, and a table view where you can see all the readings. Okay, so that's always been there, but we've made it a little bit more obvious over here by making sure the buttons are on their own pretty icons next to it. Okay, so you can see all the readings, and down here, if I want to, I can scroll through all the readings. I can also just press export as CSV, and now that's going to open up, of course, on a different screen, but now I've got this in Excel. So the export to, go away, export as CSV feature here allows you to take this table and just save it as an Excel file effectively. Okay, that's all well and good, but what I wanted to really show you is these other two. So daily min-max is now slightly relayed out. So we've got the internal temperature, internal temperature min-max, external, the probe temperature minimum, maximum. So it's now all in one table, whereas before you had to swap between them. And yeah, that's nice and handy. But what we've been asked for a lot by users is the half daily min-max. And it was in the last release, but what we were showing you down here was June the 2nd AM, June the 2nd PM. Now what we do is we show you the AM column and then the PM column. So here's the morning minimum, morning maximum, morning minimum, morning maximum, afternoon minimum, afternoon maximum, and then we do it for the other probe if you've got the external one. So it's now in that layout that a lot of our customers have been asking for. So if you're a pharmacist or a GP and you want your twice daily min-max report, that's effectively it there at the click of a button. So it's under table, half daily, min-max. Okay, now this is where I've got a problem with it. It's all well and good to say, yes, we've got this twice daily min-max report, but this is a response to Strive for 5. And Strive for 5 expects you to check your fridge at least twice a day and jot down the min-max. Clever Logger blows it out of the water. Clever Logger downloads the results every 5 minutes. And so in one sense, this report is totally obsolete. It's the fact that we're doing it every 5 minutes means that by the time you're looking at this data, if there was a problem, the horse has bolted. But wait a minute, we told you the moment the horse started to bolt. So as soon as your fridge started to get too hot or too cold, we sent you an alert notification. So we've delivered it because so many people have asked for it. But really, if you're relying on this to comply with Strive for 5, then yeah, just keep in mind that we're doing so much more, not twice a day, every 5 minutes. And we're telling you the moment things get too hot or too cold so you can respond straight away. But so many of you want to be able to tick the box to saying you've got a report that shows a twice daily min-max, and here it is. And we are in the process of automating this report and we'll be sending it out. That's a little way away, probably about a month, but here this is. Okay, now let's get back to stuff that I'm happy with. We had some interesting feedback last week from someone who was a little bit confused as to what was going on with some of the signals, and so our developers have tried to make this a lot more obvious when there's a problem and what the problem is. So at the moment I can see internal temperature 22.6 degrees. We've got this big alarm icon here to tell you that there's a problem, and we're saying here what the problem is, and in this case it's too high. Same here, it's too high. And then we've got a little help icon here, and what that help icon does is then takes you through to a page explaining what the problem is and what you need to do about it. So there's the information down the side. Yoo-hoo, it works. Okay, so we're trying to make this a lot more obvious, and everything's okay here, so here's a tick. And if I were to go to something like here, now what we've got is an exclamation saying, hey, we've got a problem here. And so, we're trying to make it really, really obvious for the user to know when there's a problem. So small change, but hopefully just to get rid of some of the ambiguity. We are still working on this and expect to see changes in this area over the next release or two. So, okay, so that's the big one. Behind the scenes, a whole host of small changes. You won't notice most of them, but just keep in mind that they're there, and we'll try and do a release note just to list this sort of stuff. But this is the big stuff. So it's really the dual temperature, the twice daily min-max, and in about another 2 weeks' time, we're going to be doing another release, and we're just doing some final tweaks on the layout, on the filtering, and then we're going to be, hopefully in the release after that, putting in some really big changes. Those will be finished by then. So that's it. If you've got any suggestions on how we can make Cleverlogger better, always just let us know. Either give us a call or send us an email to team@cleverlogger.com. We've got all the information that you need on how to use the system at cleverlogger.com. Hopefully this video will be up, and in the next week or two we'll be launching some webinars, so keep an eye out for those. This is our opportunity to step through the system and show you exactly how to use it. So that's it. That's the big release. Another one happening in 2 weeks' time, and I'll give you another update then. Thanks. Bye.